Hi, let's have a look at some of the basics of operating the new Creative Harmony website. Now, this is early days. We've just simplified the website a great deal from what it was before. So let's just look at some of the basics as we start from here and rebuild the site. The first thing to remember is that this is a new template. It's based on WordPress, and so a lot of the things that are common to most other WordPress blogs are common here. Also, this design is going to be refined a little bit over the next few weeks, but really it's just quite simple. All the original content is still here, but the menu, for example, has been simplified so it only has links to a few of the existing pages. There's also a new blog, and there's really only one post on that at this stage. I've included social media tabs here, one for LinkedIn and a couple for Facebook. And these can be modified, but they've just been set up with basic stuff here at the moment. So that all works. Okay, so I'm just going to run through a couple of things. Firstly, logging on. Secondly, editing an existing page, and working with the blog. That's fourthly. And then lastly, working with this menu system. Because as I mentioned, a lot of the existing pages are still there. They just haven't been linked through, and so they won't be able to be found, I suppose, easily by anyone visiting the site. However, they are still there and they're all still published, so if a person visiting happened to know what the URL to those pages was, they would work. Okay, so we'll start off with, as I said, logging on and then working with the basics. Okay, so the first thing is logging on. That's quite similar to the process on any WordPress site. And we may create a separate link for logging on, but at the moment it's just found at the bottom of the page here, WP Admin. And if you just watch what happens over here in the bottom left hand corner as I mouse over this, you'll see that the address can be typed in manually as well. It's just the domain name followed by / followed by WP-admin, and that'll take us to a login screen. So I'll click on that, and you just type in your username and password. So I'll type my name in, and press login, and that'll take us to initially the dashboard. The dashboard looks a bit scary, and particularly if you have full administrator rights, you'll see lots of stuff here that you don't really need to worry about. A lot of the settings for the blog, for the website, how the pages work, the template system, which is here, and the appearance tab, which is what we're going to be using to control the menu later on. But for the most part, you'll be interested in posts and pages. And as you can see, mousing over posts here, I can look at all posts, of which there's only one at the moment, and all pages, of which there are many. So let's have a look at how many pages there are. Scroll down here to the bottom. There's 4 screens worth of pages. I think from memory there's about 64 actual pages from the original site that have been transferred over, and that was originally on Airset. But these are all WordPress pages now. Only some of these pages are being used, but as you can see they're all actually published at this stage. If you want to edit a page directly, mouse over its title and then you can edit or quick edit or send it to the trash or actually view it. And this is the way that you would view what a page would look like if you couldn't navigate to it from the menu. So for example, this page here is Celebration Clarity Consultants. Let's have a look at that one. If I wanted to view it, then I could do that here. And that'll take me to it, Clarity Consultations, but you can see there's actually no menu item that would lead someone to that page. But it is actually visible, and if someone knew what that URL was up there, clarity-consultation, they could type it, bookmark it, and get to it. But that's unlikely to be a problem at the moment. Having brought this page up, I can edit the page here, and that brings up the normal WordPress editor. So I can play with the title, and I can play with the main text editor there. So that would be mostly what you're using there. And then when changes have been made, we can press update. And we could also unpublish this site, but as I mentioned, because there's no menu item to it, it's not really a worry. So we've logged in, and we've used the dashboard. I'll just get back to dashboard here. You can access it via this method, Creative Harmony Design for Living, and down comes a menu, and one of those menus is the dashboard. And we found that page here on all pages, like that. And these are all the pages that are there. Now, what we did with the last example was we actually viewed the page and then edited it, but we can go straight to the edit page here by clicking edit from the dashboard, and here we are straight into that page there. From here we can make changes and update it, and we can also view the page as well. So that was logging in, finding and editing an existing page, and updating it and viewing it. If we go to posts, we can also have a look at posts. Posts are edited in a similar way to pages, but they don't act in a similar way to pages. So here we can view a post and edit it in the same way as we did for a page. Let's have a quick look at the view of that. Right, that's just a simple welcome blog post. And the difference is posts appear on an archive page. An archive page basically is a page that has been defined where all those posts become visible. And an archive page can be all of the posts that exist, or it can filter them by category or tags or a few other ways. So they don't need a specific link to get to them, although they do have individual URLs as well. The reason they don't need a specific link to get to them from the menu is because they actually by default appear on what's called the blog page here. So on this page, the blog page, will appear all of the blog posts, unless we do otherwise. Okay, so we can create new pages, but we have to create a menu link to those pages for them to be easily found. Contrasted with, we can create new blog posts. We don't have to worry about the menu because they are going to automatically appear on this blog page. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. So we've covered logging on, and if I want to log out, I can just log out there. If I want to change my profile, I can edit my profile there. Logging in initially takes you to the dashboard, but if you want to find the dashboard, you simply mouse over the domain up there and click on dashboard. You can also, as you can see, go straight to some of these submenu items here. For example, sorry, I'll go back to where I was. Okay, so I can go directly to widgets and menus, for example. Okay, so I'll do that because I want to demonstrate the menu here. Okay, so the menus are controlled through this tool here, the menus tool, and you can define a number of menus. The menus basically are just the links across the top of the page, and those links can link to pages or blog posts, but generally they link to pages. And they can also link to other pages on elsewhere on the internet as well. So these are not pages per se, they're just links. That's all they are. And if you click on this down arrow here, you can see that they can be modified. I can actually change this. I can change this label here, but it will still point to the home page, for example. I can change this label. It says blog at the moment. Okay, but it will still point to the page that has been defined as where the blog post archives are actually supposed to turn up. by default initially they adopt the same name as the page title, but that can be changed. Okay, so this is a drag and drop interface here. I can reorder these very easily. So for example, if I want the blog to be the first item, I can just drag it up there, and if I save that menu and then look at my site, I will see that as far as the menu item is concerned, blog is the leftmost, but we have defined our home page, the page that comes up simply by typing the domain here or clicking on the site title, as being the page that we've called home. So there's separate things happening there. Normally what would happen is that the link that you've defined as the leftmost link in your menu is actually also what's referred to as your home page. Okay, now what you may have noticed is that on some pages, on most pages I should say, I've set up so that the header image is clickable, as you can see there. That takes us back to our home page, and the menu sits underneath it. You may find in some cases that the menu sits above the header image, and that's simply because I haven't had a chance to update that particular template. The template control, by the way, is done down here, and please don't confuse this with editing the post or the page. This is really to alter the look and feel of the page itself, the template. So don't play with that for now. And really that's all there is to it. So logging out over here, you can just log out, and those changes then will be reflected that you've made. Okay, so as you can see, we've made blog the leftmost here. Now what I'm going to do is just quickly log back in again and show you one final thing, which is adding a page to a menu item. Just log in again. This should take us back to the dashboard again. Okay, and I can go to menus here. Now let's say, what I'll do is I'll just move that back here. You may have noticed that I can actually create submenus here, so I can create a hierarchy, and that would then become a pull down menu. They're all at the top level there, and here that one's a submenu of the home menu item. Okay, so let's just say we want to remove this link. That's easy to do, just remove it. That doesn't delete the page or anything, it's still able to be added again later. And so I'm just going to do that, remove that, so that's gone. And then if I wanted to make that permanent, I'll just save the menu. So if you wanted to explore, there are other menus here. This is the menu, as you can see, this one, sorry, I'll leave that page because I want to retain what we had before. So yeah, this menu was the original menu and has all the pages linked on it. But at the moment, what's defined is menu main number 2. That's the one that actually turns up on the top of the pages. Right, so I'll just change those around again, save that menu. Now, if I want to add a new page, it's very, very simple. You select here the pages that you want to add to this menu. Make sure that the menu that you actually want to add is the one that's being highlighted, so click on menu main 2 there, and here you're just selecting. Nothing's happening here, you're not copying or anything like that, you're just selecting, and the process of actually adding those links to the menu is done by add menu there, so I'll do that. Okay, and so now they are there, and I can, for example, I can make them sublinks underneath there. If I save that menu and then visit the site, you can see nothing's changed visually until I hover over there, and that's where the submenus then work. So that's pretty simple. I'll just remove those again. to leave it as it was. Removing is just a matter of going remove. Don't worry, that doesn't delete the page, it just deletes the link to the page from this menu. You can have pages linked twice, so I could have this link happening here. I can create a duplicate of it as a submenu item over there. There's a lot of flexibility to menus. Now what you may have noticed over here in selecting pages, there's a couple of options here. Most recent, view all, and that then, because we've got so many pages, gives you a couple of sets of these, and you just scroll down to find them. Now, these page titles here relate to, let me just save this menu, so those page titles there relate to the title that was defined here, Meet Sally Garahy. That's the title that turns up in that list of pages. And that generally relates to what's called the permalink here. But not always, because these can be edited independently. Okay, so let's go back to visit the site. As I mentioned, that main menu 2 menu is the one that's been defined for all these pages, but you can have different menus on different pages. You can have multiple menus on the same page. I can have a top menu up there that's a bit different. I can have a bottom menu. I can have another menu on the side here. Whilst you're logged in, you may notice messages like this saying that there's an unused widget area in a particular spot. Don't worry about that, because that's not visible unless you're logged in with editing privileges. Okay. And so I'll just log out here just to show you that this little message here isn't visible to the general public. Back to Creative Harmony Design for Living. As you can see, it's not there. So there's a bit of editing that needs to be done here, but that's how you do it. So just log in using this item here, and then edit the page will happen at a bar that goes across the top there, the edit bar. Don't use the edit button down here, that's for modifying the template. Okay, that's all there is to it.